think about it using common sense. I'm just getting back from a long layoff, so therefore there may be some mistakes along the way, but that's understandable. And please bear with me until I get my podcast, daily podcast down to a science. But what I'm continuing to talk about is the title, The Blinders Are Coming Off, and people are beginning to see things and people for who they really are. And this election, the results of this election, has been mind-boggling. It's been mind-boggling to me from the very beginning of the ending of the 2020 election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And I know we're tired, some of us are tired of hearing about it. But the things that's taking place using common sense does not make any sense at all. And yet, the people that have been elected to oversee our government, be a part of the government, and took an oath to serve the people and this country to the best of their ability, have failed. They have proven based on common sense or based on what we have seen or the evidence that has been put before us. These people are hypocrites. Excuse me. They are not and have not been serving in the best interest of the American people. They have only been servicing special interest groups and themselves and getting rich off the backs of programs that supposedly are going or to help the poor when all actuality is putting money in the pockets of the wealthy. And some people are beginning to see it more and more. But what's happening is people have been misdirected. They have been misdirected while you're looking at one thing over here, or you're participating in one thing. And then the people in control that has laid the foundation for your misdirection is having their hands in your pocket or doing things over here to benefit them that you're not even aware of. And you're not even aware that these things are being done purposely to keep them in charge or in power. And this morning, I'm sitting around using some common sense and thinking, and I begin to ask myself, people like myself, and that's a lot of us, trying to do things to help the less fortunate or help those who want to see and be a part of a change to help make this world a better place. I'm beginning to ask myself, is it worth it? Because it seems to me that the people don't realize that people like myself that put ourselves in harm's way to try and educate you, the masses, try and stimulate your brain so you can use the power that you have within yourself and use it collectively as a people to make life better, create a better future for yourself and for your children. We are putting our life on the line because those in charge, the last thing they want to see is for you to rise up. It's for you to become productive. It's for you to start loving yourselves and start looking out for yourselves. Start looking out for your children. These things, by you doing these things, you're stopping the money that's flowing into their pockets. They don't want that. I'm not doing this for financial reasons. I'm doing this because I have been blessed to have knowledge, special knowledge that only comes from people experiencing things. You can know something, but when you actually experience it and go through it, it's different. It's different. Now you're dealing with feelings and connecting with the reality of common sense, that it comes from somewhere. That what has been projected to the masses as being something to live for really isn't. Certain things in life we need, yes. But the only thing you are here trying to get is what's been put before you. But the most important thing of all is you and your life and your family, their family, their survival. And we have let the rich control everything. I mean, if you want to control something, you have money, you have power, do you control it? But don't control it off the backs of the poor. Don't control things where the poor that is or have been denied the basic things of living or the enjoyment, the basic enjoyments of life, suffer while you progress off their misdeeds or lack of education or lack of proper knowledge. So people, until you take life serious, and the time is running out, the clock is running out, because this last election was a grave mistake. And you can see if you take time away from the games, away from the nonsense, and see what is actually happening, it may just give you a heart attack when you realize what's about to happen to you, your family, and this country. Realize that you have been used. You have been misused. You've been tricked. And now, if you can't see what's taking place, and it is fortunate that so many of us, the blinders are coming off. But when the blinders come off and you can see, it's more to it than that. When you start seeing something, you have to start doing something. You can no longer sit on the sidelines and expect to participate in the game. People, you have to get in the game. You have to get in the game. You have to get in the game collectively. You have to take this racism stuff and bury it. Bury it. When you're in a war, you don't worry about what color someone is. And you don't leave anyone behind. You work together for the survival of us all. And this is what needs to be taking place now. It should have been going all the time, but at the same time, you can't. It's a saying. It's a saying that divide and conquer. You can't accomplish something when you divide it. You can't be a part of something and all of a sudden you want to pull away from it and become a weak link. What's the saying? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. You have to look at the past. You look at the past and things that it has happened and see where you are now and see the mistakes that are being made. How long does it take you to correct something? I cannot believe with poverty that's in among the poor and among certain races of people, with all these universities, all these professors, accountants, psychologists, scientists, they don't know the solution to the problem. It's common sense. Education, family structure, drugs. They talk about drugs on the street. What about drugs from the pharmaceuticals? Drugs, period. Rich people, drug addicts, they're junkie, they just can afford their habits. But the most important thing of all that's missing is love of self. Love of self and love of country. But even love of self is number one, because if you love yourself, common sense now, you're going to love everything, because everything that's beneficial, if it's done right, is going to benefit you. You say, look on all things with love and you're born again. But first of all, love yourself. And when you do, you will inspect all things, everything that enter into your mind and body. Just don't grab something and eat because it tastes good. You don't have a plate full of food and realize that it's a certain amount. When you get over a certain amount, then that's affecting your body, affecting your mind. What affects your body affects your mind. What affects your mind affects your body. They're one and the same. But actually, the body is a product of the mind. Excuse me. The body is a product of the mind, that the mind is created to be able to survive in this physical world that we live in. So there's life beyond the body, the consciousness, which we have totally forgotten about. We have, but apparently, the wealthy scientists haven't forgotten about. They feed us a lot of stuff, a lot of nonsense. They tell everybody, oh, this is over here, this is over there. They don't tell you how to get there. They can make these things, that everything that we see comes from within the human body. Common sense, where else can it come from? The internet, a copy of the nervous system in the human body. Cars have two headlights. We have two eyes. We have to feed cars with energy. We get fed with energy. Solid, liquids, and gas. People, we have got to start seeing things in life as they really are. And time is running out. People say, oh, we keep saying, oh, we got time. No, you do not. You do not. You have put the king, you have put the king in charge. And the king is putting all his people, like chess, like a game of chess, putting all his people in the positions to protect him and to be there to give him what he wants when he needs it. That's why I laugh when I hear people say, oh, well, after this excuse me, after this 4 years, Trump is gone. What make you think that? He's never left the first time he lost. He was on the news practically every day for the 4 years he was out of office. All they was talking about, Trump, 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 Trump. And now he's back in office, a convicted felon, been found guilty, tried, and sentenced. He was sentenced with no results to his punishment. I don't know what kind of sentence that is, but and he had lawyers. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's no coincidence. Not at all. None whatsoever. You know, these people sending rockets up to the moon and different planets and different, we don't know what they're doing in outer space, but they're doing something. And whatever they're doing out there is not for the average person who can't afford it. It's not going out there. You may not even want to go out there anyway. Because the earth, the planet Earth, is the environment that we are, and this environment is part of us. We're one and the same. We weren't created to live in outer space. But in the future, what's going to happen when you see these movies, see, people know I can learn, or you can learn, or we all can learn a lot from movies. That's a two-edged sword. There's negativity in them, but there's some positive stuff in them when you look at it and see where all that negativity has to come from somewhere. Came out of somebody's mind. Look at the horrific things that's happening in the world today. The people, humans are doing. Martians would come from outer space. Where do they come from? They come from life that is being developed in a environment of space, weightlessness, putting all these combining humans and technology and machines. So the next maybe 3 generations, oh, you can have life that's being developed in outer space now going to be coming back to Earth. That's all it is. Any life forms that's created on another planet will not look like humans because the environment is different. Common sense. Doesn't take a genius to realize that. But these people should not be allowed. They should, regardless of how much money you got, regardless of what you're sending into outer space, there should be rules and regulations. There should be people, an oversight committee to go in and inspect everything that you're doing here on Earth and everything you're doing in outer space. Everything. Because it affects people here on Earth. But the people out there don't care. They don't care about people here on Earth because they don't live among us. They're among us, but they don't live in our environment. They don't know you. So how do they care about you? They don't. If they did, it would be evidence of it. So this has just been another touch of the blinders are coming off. Number 2, and they are coming off. And remember something. Everything that's being developed comes from within the minds of humans. Every mineral that's in the earth is in us, humans. And we are more powerful than that which comes from us. It's just that we don't know how to tap this energy. We don't know what we're capable of. But we can see evidence of things that have came from us. But people, you don't know what you're capable of. Your mental abilities are limitless. Limitless. You can travel into outer space. You can travel with mind, with mental powers. You can travel. You see how humans develop here on Earth. You see what the animals here can do on Earth. They're physical, but they can do certain things, but they still physical. So if they can do it, we're capable of doing it. And I'll tell you more about animals later on, but we can do it. We have to get our minds on ourselves other than on things. It doesn't last. People, we can last. Just because the physical body ceases to exist doesn't mean you cease to exist. But you don't listen. People don't listen. They think they know everything. They spend their whole life trying to acquire material things. On their deathbed, they don't even think about them. All they think about is life. Some of us, those that know. And if they did know, they wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing here, because in all actuality, you have to answer for everything that you do. You're the end product of everything that you do, every thought that you think. That's why. You talk about religion. Religion is your way of life. Regardless of what you believe or how you believe, it's your way of life. And when this physical body ceases to exist, that's the time that your consciousness goes on this scale, on a universal scale. I call it an oven. I call it a universal oven. That it's like a mixing bowl. All your deeds and your consciousness and all your thoughts goes into this mixing bowl, like you mix a cake and you put it in the oven, universal oven of time. And whatever you are, whatever you thought, all that stuff comes out like that cake does when you put that batter in the oven. That's what that cake is. It's a combination of all its ingredients. And that's what I think. That's what I think. Animals are living personalities over time. People, there is some disgusting looking savagery type life forms that I can't even bear to look at. They live in fear of being eaten by other animals. A whole life of nothing but just a dinner for someone else. You spend looking. People, that's a hell of a way I would not want to live. And we as humans have put ourselves, we're supposed to be higher intelligent, that we have put ourselves in a situation where we walk around with guns on our hips to protect us from our own selves. How they're cheating people, taking advantage of seniors, taking advantage of those who don't know it, creating obstacles, putting obstacles in front of people to bring them down and create jails where they can lock them up, kill people, take their land. No, people, we are humans. Well, we were supposed to be, but just because we look like a human doesn't mean we are humans. If you look like a human and then act like a skunk, then guess what? You're a skunk. You just look like a human. We got to start questioning ourselves and our humanity, and our availabilities of the knowledge and who we are, because we are bad. be bad. I think sometimes the world would be better off if humans wasn't even a part of it. Just think about it. What do we add? You know, what do we add to this planet to make it better? What do we add? You know, animals add to the ecosystem as far as fertilization and bees pollinate, do this. What do humans add? I can't think of one thing except destruction. Anyway, people, thank you so much, and we will talk again soon.